Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakapodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well, peace, and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainan. The title of this video is Same Story, Same Devils. And ultimately, looking at this article, it pissed me off. And I'm going to get into the article. The article is about the fact that these Israelis, these small adders, 1948ers, they have committed, basically another crime, and they're just trying to lie about it or whatever the case may be. And, the best feeling I could give you was Psalm 73, okay? But anyway, this is, shameful spewing on their glory right there. These devils being exposed and all of that those precepts lined up. We're going to get the article, and we're going to get an article from when they did something similar, right? And pretty much is repeating itself, and I just said to myself, Israel is doing all these things around the world. They're committing FF events in Australia. They're bombing. They did the USS Liberty. They did the October, 7th or 6th or whatever. They, the 9/11 event. Just these different things. Even now with them destroying their own people, the synagogues and things like that being attacked. And people just walking around lollygagging like they're safe, right? Israel has the power to destroy you at any moment, and no one's doing anything about these devils, but ultimately we, those elect, we're going to wait upon our Lord, right? We're going to lean upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and wait, and that's our hedge of protection, right? That is our protection. So we have nothing to worry about, but it's just amazing, these things continue to happen, right? This is Psalm 73:1. It says, truly, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart, right? But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. My heart's going to your mind, just being rehearsing righteous acts, being near unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua by, going to the Bible, knowing him, knowing what he's about, knowing who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. Right, verse 3 says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Right, so this is the best thought, I could think of when I was, thinking about how I felt about what I seen, It says, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covers them as a garment. And this is true. Let me see what it says in NLT. All these devils do, as it says in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, they're not satisfied with that, right? It says they wear, NLT, they wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty. So these are some cruel devils, right? Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. So this is exactly this is what's happening. These devils do something. They try to paint it as an accident or it's not that serious, right? These devils just denied the UN resolution regarding the reparations, which we don't want reparations, but they couldn't even say it is truthful that these things happen. Meanwhile, Trump is getting rid of DEI and all of this extra stuff we're talking about. They don't want to feel sorry for the things that they did. So why the hell did y'all feel sorry in the first place? Because you did it and it was wrong. But it's all good though. Because Yahushua is in the way. Psalm 73:8, it says they are corrupt and speak wickedly. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully. Okay? So they don't care. It says they set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walk through the earth. Therefore, his people return hither and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. Yeah, this man, Vision, not a Jew and all the rest of them, people brought up on charges and things like that, still walking free to this day. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was able to send Black Hawks into Venezuela and capture somebody, feel good about what he did when he really ain't accomplished nothing, It says, and they say, how do Yahweh know, and is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. The earth, Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? So that's why these devils walk around and do what they do, right? But, they time is short, right? It says, I'll continue. It says, Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh. Then understood I therein. Therein is destruction, death. Right? Scriptures say he must continue a short space and then go into perdition. All right. That's what's going to happen to these devils. So, and we can, scriptures say Esau is the end of the world, right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And everything that they're doing right now is bringing about the end. Because, Joel 3, around verse 9, is the weaker saying that they are strong now. So people are kind of bucking up. Even Habakkuk 2, right? Habakkuk 2, let me get it. Habakkuk 2, they say, how long? How long can this continue? Habakkuk 2 and 4 says, Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. His pride, he's a wicked individual. It says, But the just shall live by his faith. It says, Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, right? His policy, his laws and things that he has set up in the world. It says, Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Now that keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. You see the Greater Israel Project. In is as death and cannot be satisfied. But gathered unto him all nations and heaped unto him all people. Shall not all these take a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long into him that lays himself with thick clay? The thick clay is going to the debt. Right, ultimately that America has accumulated. Because America, Israel and America are tied to the same fallen rock to the bottom of the ocean, basically, right? They're in it together to the end, literally. Right, because they have an end that's fastly approaching, right? Well, this nuclear war is about to pop off, but the weak are now rising up, saying, "Yo, listen, you're doing too much." Habakkuk 2 and 7 says, "Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city." And all that dwell therein. All right. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. Everyone knows that Israel is out here committing FF events, killing innocent journalists and things like that, because they don't want the world to see. Even with them trying to pay the TikTokers, with them trying to pay the TikTokers the money to, do good posts for them. Turns out, or at least I heard that some of those people wasn't even getting paid. All right. It says, "For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it." Hold on, we got a fucking devil pulling up right now. Habakkuk 2:11, it says, "For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer. Woe to him that built a town with blood and established a city by iniquity." These devils are trying to get the Greater Israel Project right now and destroying everybody in their path to do it. Right? The same thing they did with America, through our people. Came here, the Northern tribe was already here already. Our people was already here before America came here. Somebody discovered some shit. Habakkuk 2 and 13, "Behold, it is not of the Lord Yahweh Bashmal shall host that the people shall labor in a very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for a very vanity. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, as the waters cover the sea." All right, and ultimately, righteousness is going to spring forth. All right. NOT says, "Has not the Lord of heaven's armies promised that the wealth of nations will turn to ashes? They work so hard, but all is in vain. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh Bashmal Shai, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful thing shall be on thy glory." Hey, yo. In one of the videos, they're attacking Lebanon right now. Habakkuk 2 and 17, "For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, the city, and all that dwell therein. This is NLT. Says you cut down the forest of Lebanon, now you be cut down. You destroyed the wild animals, so now their terror will be yours. You committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns with violence. Right, and you about to see, in this video what they're doing. And I'll be right back. Oh, it ain't go. All right, anyway. Habakkuk 2:8, it says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant. Hold on, let me see. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast been sold to shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that built up a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. Right? And these devils is doing that this very moment, trying to achieve the Greater Israel project, right? By obliterating everything and everyone in their path. That's why they're destroying infrastructure and schools and things like that, because they're going to rebuild all of that, or they're going to try to rebuild it, right? Which I don't believe they're going to ever get the Greater Israel project, because they're not winning the war, right? They have to stop Iran. And scriptures say Russia is going to join Iran and shoot nuclear missiles on Israel and America. Right? Woe to him that built a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. And the same thing happened to America, right? Regarding our people, because we were here, right? When Cristobal Colon pulled up and said he discovered some shit. All right. Behold, it is not of the Lord Yahweh Bashmal shall host, that the people shall labor in very fire, and the people shall wear themselves of very vanity. Yeah, these devils working right now for the Greater Israel project, and they'll never see it. Right? NLT says, has not the Lord Yahweh Bashmal shall heaven promised that the wealth of nations shall turn to ashes? They work so hard, but all in vain. There's scripture saying in Isaiah 47 that they're weary in the multitude of their counsels. All right, they're trying to figure it out. It ain't nothing to figure out but death. Right? These devils are going into perdition very soon. Right? And Obadiah 1:18 will be the end of them forever. We have to worry about their ass no more. Right? It says Habakkuk 2:14, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord. Right? That's why you got Psalms, Isaiah 2, right? The nations, basically coming to us for the knowledge. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord Yahweh Bashmal Shai, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him and maketh him drunk, and also that thou mayest look on the nakedness. Right, and these Amalekites, right, the top banking elites of the world, the small hatters, it goes all the way up to the Rothschilds, right, the people that control the money. All right, really and truly, and a hub of theirs is also the Israel, right, where they made Israel become a state back in 1948, right, and they went around the world, trying to blackmail the different rulers and things like that. And that's why they're also mentioned in these Epstein files, because they're the corporate, they're the one that's actually doing it, right? Jeffrey Epstein talking about, he represents the Rothschilds. He ain't saying anything about who else he represents. He represents the Mossad and all of that. So those things are intertwined. It's like one body, and it goes to the top, which are the Rothschilds, the banking elites, right? It goes to the small hatters, the 1948ers. Right, the cosplaying Edomites in the land of Israel pretending to be the Israelites, and they are not. That are filled with shameful glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall return unto thee, and shameful feeling shall be on thy glory. Right, and that's why the whole world, if you got 2 brain cells, who's running the show now, right? You know who's in charge, and who's the puppet, who's the master and who's the puppet. So verse 17, it says, "For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee." That's what the devil is doing right now. And that's where actually the first video in the article took place. "For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee in the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, for of the city, and of all that dwell therein." All right. "What profited the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it, the molten image, and the teachers in a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols?" Yeah, I want to get this NFT because these devils took the AI, and then the AI was kind of smart, but not really. But then they made it more dumb, basically, right? But by making it not speak the truth anymore. So how's that? How's that idol even going to help you anymore? It says, "What good is an idol carved by man, or a cast image that deceives you? How foolish to trust in your own creation, a God that can't even talk." And they made it talk, but they made something and they're controlling what it is. You might as well not use the AI then. The AI is out here targeting images, painting on the ground. That shows you how smart and how far these devils are going to go. Habakkuk 2:19, "Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, that shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath no breath at all in the midst of it. But the Lord Yahweh Bashim is in his holy temple, let all the earth keep silence before him." All right, and the Lord is dealing with us, right? Where two or three are gathered, the Lord is in the midst, and we're covering the face of the earth. The prophets are everywhere, all right? Your true elect of the Lord Yahweh Bashim. So I gave you the psalm. That's why I came over here. Psalm 73 and 17, it says, "Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh Bashim, then understood I therein. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castedest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation in a moment? They are utterly consumed with terrors. As a dream when one awaketh, O soul, O Lord, Yahweh Bashim, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image." All right, and basically they're going to be destroyed. All right, but even just waking up every day seeing these devils, like I say sometimes, I want nothing good for these devils. All right. Now, these are just precepts I thought about, while reading it, so I'll just grab it. Or so Isaiah 32:5 says, "The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the troll said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity. To practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh will shout to make empty the souls of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Their instruments also to troll are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak of right." All right, so the devils are being shown to be just that, devils, right? Deceivers, right? They're deceiving you and making you believe that the things you're seeing with your own eyes is not what's actually happening. They're killing people and telling you it's an accident, things like that. Isaiah 47:1, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Right. Yahweh Shah is going away, and he's not coming to play, basically, right? He came first as a man, in a regular fleshly body, real humble. When he come back, all that is out the window. Right? He's coming to destroy, right? Tread in his anger. What is it? Isaiah 63? Isaiah 63:1, it says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like the him that treadeth on a winepress? Says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of all the people, and of the people there was none with me. For I would tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeeming is come. Ultimately, a lot of death when Yahushua pulls up, and the greatness of his strength, right? With the chariots, the fathership, coming directly for Edom, Esau, right? Says, and I looked, and there was none to help. I wondered that there was none to uphold, right? And that's what I'm saying right now. These devils just walk around the earth committing all type of wickedness, messing with children, messing with everybody, putting things in the food to mess with your body. The woman is full of like estrogen and, just testosterone, just all these different things that these devils are doing. It says, and I looked, and there was none to help. I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I would tread down the people in mine anger, and then make them drunk in my fury. I will bring down their strength to the earth. Yeah, that's what Yahushua come to do damage. All right, and so I got this article from TASS, Russian News Agency. Right, Russia demands investigation into Israeli strike that injured RT crew in Lebanon. Says Moscow demands an investigation into the March 19th Israeli airstrike that injured an RT news crew in southern Lebanon. Russia permanent representative to United Nations, Zali, that's his name, said at a Security Council meeting. Members of a Russia Today TV channel crew suffered injuries in an Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon on March 19th. The deliberate strike hit right next to where they were filming, with no military facilities anywhere in the vicinity, which can be seen clearly from the footage of ammunition explosion shot by the crew's cameraman. We consider such actions by Israel to be a blatant violation of international law and international obstruction of media workers' activities. We demand that the Israeli authorities thoroughly investigate the incident, bring those responsible to justice, and prevent such attacks in the future. Yeah, he said prevent such attacks in the future. Meanwhile, we got a long list of things that they've been doing regarding journalists, right, from the start of the war. But anyway, this is the one he's talking about. All right.
Were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
أول مرة عن جد غرار على الأسود. شباب نحن مناح، ما في شيء بخوف. وطلع الصاروخ ونزل عليك بتسمعه.
Were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
So they talked about they gave a warning basically, and no one's supposed to be there. But multiple times, Israel has struck people that were reporting live, even buildings where they were inside the building reporting something, and the building was struck. Right, so we know these devils are lying. Says the IDF does not target civilians or journalists and operates in accordance with international law. Posted March 19, 2026.
Were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
So I don't know the guy that ran away that said he's good. Maybe that was him they showing a video, maybe. But this dude that's saying fuck, I don't think he's too good.
Where?
Anyway, Israel buried ambulance underground. AI overview. Based on reports and investigations surrounding an incident on March 23rd, 2025, in Rafah, Gaza, Israeli forces were accused of killing 15 Palestinian medical and rescue workers and burying their bodies in ambulances in a mass grave. So they buried the bodies in the ambulance to cover the evidence, right? And that was an investigation. I had a video. I'm gonna get this article. So this is April 20th, 2025. Israel releases findings of its investigations into killing of 15 Palestinian medics. So Russia is now asking for Israel to give them an investigation on them shooting that missile at their RT news people. So in this investigation, this is what they said. So the Israeli military released findings today on this investigation of what happened the night troops killed 50 Palestinian medics last month. And it says it's uncovered what is called several professional failures. They're calling what they did several professional failures, which since this time, they have many professional failures in because they continue to do the same thing. So I believe this is one of the IDF maybe, or, says so, right. So what we know is that on March 23rd, Israeli troops who were conducting an operation in Rafah, South Gaza, opened fire on a fire truck and ambulance and killed 15 Palestinian medics. The soldiers then dug a mass grave, buried the bodies, and bulldozed over the vehicles. When the grave was found a week later, the Israeli military said that the ambulances and the fire truck approached the troops suspiciously, and they didn't have any lights on. So when asked about this, what they said, professional failure, this is what they said to it: that the fire truck and the ambulance approached suspiciously, and they didn't have any lights on. But then earlier this month, the Palestinian Red Crescent released a video found on the body of one of the killed medics that they buried and bulldozed over the vehicles and bodies, and that the video showed that the vehicles were clearly marked, driving slowly with emergency lights on and flashing red lights. And that's when the military walked back its original account and said some of their assessments was mistaken and that an investigation was started. So this is what Russia wants them to do. Investigate this now, attack now. So anyway, I can already see that they're bullshitting, Here's the video.
The bodies of Palestinian medics pulled from a mass grave, some buried on top of each other. The gruesome discovery.
Oh, by the way, this is from ABC News Australia.
The bodies of Palestinian medics pulled from a mass grave, some buried on top of each other. The gruesome discovery confirming worst-held fears. The ambulances and fire trucks they were travelling in left unrecognisable, torn apart by Israeli fire.
Their bodies were gathered and buried in this mass grave. We're digging them out in their uniforms, with their gloves on. They were here to save lives.
The emergency convoy was being escorted by the UN and had ventured towards the southern Gaza town of Tel El Sultan as Israeli forces laid siege to the area.
I'm just going to check to see if there's any human remains in here.
This video released by the UN of an abandoned rescue mission. We've paused the vision here, just before it shows Palestinians shot from behind as they were trying to flee.
Another one shot. Another one shot.
It's very important, obviously, to have a full investigation and establish all the facts.
The IDF says it was targeting Hamas vehicles before the ambulances and fire trucks arrived, that they drove up to troops suspiciously without lights and...
Same story, same devil. They said they gave a warning to not be in the area, and then a reporter was in the area and they struck a reporter, right? So in this story, they say we were attacking, resistance in the area, and then y'all pull up. So we attacked y'all, basically.
Sirens, prompting them to open fire. But the IDF hasn't provided any evidence to back up them to open fire. Arrived, that they drove up to troops suspiciously without lights and sirens, prompting them to open fire. But the IDF hasn't provided any evidence to back up these claims. It's also refusing to answer the ABC's questions as to why the bodies and the vehicles were subsequently buried.
I don't need the answer to why the bodies in the vehicles were buried. They obviously hiding something.
Funerals of some of those killed were held yesterday, a crowd gathering outside the morgue of the Nasser hospital as the bodies emerged.
For a month, I did not see him. He was running to the wounded and to the martyrs. I did not wish to see him in the white body bag.
The UN and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies are demanding answers. But for now, Israel remains silent to their questions. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Jerusalem.
So, let me get this. This is, this Revelation 12 and 7. It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So now this is talking about, what they're saying now, the holy war or Armageddon. Basically them trying to return what they call Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's in the scriptures and it will happen, but these devils lose, right? And it's not up to them when, Yahushua, returns or not, right? They're only doing what the Lord is allowing them to do. And he's allowed them to, basically bring themselves to this point where he pulls up and destroys them, right? Revelation 12 and 7, it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, right? Which is a deceiver and the adversary, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So basically, perdition, done, says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So ultimately what ends in this is destruction, right? Him going to perdition. Right, and I want to grab that precept too. Grab that real quick. Where it says he must continue a short space. I'm thinking it's either Revelation 13 or Revelation 11. But let me check. Well, so I'm gonna read this. This is Revelation 20 and 1. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now these are Edomites. They were bound 1,000 years during the Byzantine Empire, or what they call the Dark Ages. And what came out of that after that 1,000-year period was the Renaissance. Right? It says, and cast him into a bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So we had to deal with the devil for a little season, right? And he's still here, making everybody upset. Scripture say, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn, but when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, right? Revelation 20 and 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, says God, and Magog, which is Russia, from the land of Russia, to gather them together to battle. So ultimately, this devil will go out and make war with Russia, the number of whom is at the sand of the sea, right? And it's going to be World War III because Russia has allies, America has allies. It says, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from the Havubash out of heaven and devoured them. Ultimately, that's what's also happening in these last days. Trying to come against the Lord's elect. But ultimately, what happens? The nuclear missiles are shot, right? America is destroyed. Israel is destroyed, right? And wherever else that might get hit and destroyed, right? But the earth will not abide forever because the kingdom of heaven will be here, on planet Earth. All right. It says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, which is the nuclear destruction, right? The nuclear waste, like, the aftermath of the destruction is going to look like a lake of fire because the whole of America from sea to shining sea will be destroyed. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone where the beast and the false prophet are and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Won't be forever and ever. Ultimately, America, the fires will die down. Desert creatures and whatnot, be roaming around here. This is Revelation 17. Said to Doom of Babylon. I don't know where I want to get it, but I just get from the point. All right, let me just get it from Revelation 17 and 10. Okay, I'll get it from 8. All right, because I just went into that. Revelation 17:8, it says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. And that's because it was the Roman Empire, right? So it was, but it was not because it was destroyed, right? He went to destruction. And where they get put? The bottomless pit, right? He was underfoot during the Dark Ages, right? Over there in Europe. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. See? And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose name was not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Right. So basically America coming back, people wandering after the beast, people trying to be like America, trying to set themselves up like America. When America, they're great because the people that they took into captivity. Because the people they took into captivity basically invented everything, came up with all the ideas and forward their country. Right. And through that, they was able to set themselves up, the dollar becoming the standard and, different things. They had time to breathe because they had slaves. The slaves was doing all the work and they could just sit back and come up with wicked things to do. It says, yes, pretty much that's the point, that he's going to go into perdition. All right. So, Lord willing, you edify from the lessons. Shalom to the overlake, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.